Coming up today, after grueling marathon talks, South and North Korea reach an agreement to defuse the recent tensions between the two sides. North Korea expresses regret over the recent landmine attacks that wounded South Korean soldiers. In return, South Korea agrees to stop propaganda broadcasts from noon local time. Plus, Seoul and Pyongyang agree to hold Red Cross talks early next month to prepare for reunions of families separated by the Korean War. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello and welcome. It's 6 a.m. on Tuesday, August 25th here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broome and you're tuned in to our early morning edition of Arirang News. Our top story this morning: after more than 40 hours of negotiations, the two Koreas have struck a deal to defuse tensions prompted by Pyongyang's recent landmine attack in the Demilitarized Zone. Let's go straight to our presidential office correspondent Choi Yoo-sun, who's on the line. Yoo-sun, you've been covering these talks for us since Saturday. When did this meeting end and what have the two Koreas agreed to?
Mark, the meeting, which began last Saturday evening, came to a close roughly 5 hours ago at 12:55 a.m. Tuesday, Seoul time. The meeting had been led by President Park's top security advisor Kim Kwan-jin and Unification Minister Hong Yong-pyo from the south, and the North Korean military's top official Hwang Byung-seo and ruling party secretary Kim Yang-gon at the Truce Village of Panmunjom. In a joint press release read by Kim Kwan-jin in Seoul, North Korea expressed regret for the August 4th landmine explosions on the south side of the DMZ that left two South Korean soldiers with serious injuries. South Korea has agreed to stop its anti-North Korea broadcast it resumed after the landmine blast starting noon Tuesday, Seoul time, so long as the North promises to make sure such incidents do not occur again. Pyongyang will also lift its semi-state of war imposed after the two Koreas' exchange of artillery fire amid heightened tensions. And earlier on Monday, President Park Geun-hye pressured the North to agree to the South's terms, sticking to a principle in saying that getting Pyongyang's apology and preventive measures following the DMZ attack was the most important issue at the high-level meeting. The North had been denying responsibility for the blast. She said without an apology, Seoul would continue its anti-North Korea broadcast, which Pyongyang considers an insult to its leader, Kim Jong-un. Mark?
And Yoo-sun, the two sides said they will also work to further develop their ties, but in non-military areas, what did they agree on?
South and North Korea said they will hold a meeting of their officials either in Seoul or Pyongyang in the near future to seek ways to improve their relations gone sour following the North's series of provocations over the years. On the humanitarian front, they will have their respective Red Cross offices hold working-level talks early next month to prepare for a reunion of families separated by the Korean War around the time of Korean Thanksgiving in late September. With ministries in charge expected to develop various programs, the South and the North will expand their civilian exchanges in a wide range of areas. When asked if the two sides discussed a possible leaders' summit, President Park's top security aide Kim Kwan-jin said they were not at the right stage in talks at the moment to deliberate on that issue. While some watchers say the North's regret comes short of an actual apology, others say the Park administration has taken the driver's seat in diffusing tensions on the peninsula and opened the door to normalizing inter-Korean ties. This was Choi Yoo-sun reporting on the two Koreas' latest agreement to ease tensions on the Korean peninsula.
Let's get more now on Seoul's decision to silence its loudspeakers later today. Our Connie Kim is at the Ministry of National Defense in Seoul. Connie.
지금까지 국방부에서 MBC 뉴스
Well, Mark, as Yoo-sun just mentioned, South Korea will halt all of its loudspeaker broadcasts at noon Tuesday, roughly 6 hours from now. But this is based on strict conditions that North Korea will stick to its side of its bargain, refraining from further provocations and lowering its threat level. Now, if it does, the South's propaganda campaign will stop. We must add that while South Korea will power down the speakers, it will not removing them from the border. This comes after Seoul restarted the broadcast for the first time in over a decade earlier this month, following those landmine provocations at the Demilitarized Zone on August 4th. North Korea's decision to express regret about that incident, a change from its previous stance in which it denied responsibility, is being translated here that the regime has acknowledged it was behind the provocation.
And we also hear North Korea is lifting its semi-state of war footing. This is clearly a welcome development.
That's right, Mark. North Korea will lift its semi-state status of war, responding to South Korea's stopping of its loudspeaker broadcasts. This means that North Korea will move its soldiers and artillery deployed on the front line to their regular footing. Now, the move is expected to ease the heightened military tensions, but officials here say the South Korean military will maintain its high alert level if North Korea does not lift its semi-state of war. Pyongyang declared this heightened status last Friday, calling on Seoul to stop its loudspeaker propaganda campaign. And as a result, the number of North Korean soldiers amassed on the front line doubled. North Korea has also deployed its main infiltration units and military hardware to the front lines. In response, Seoul upped its military alert level, raising the 5-level WatchCon threat alert system to the second highest level. We'll see if that comes down in the next few hours as well. And also, South Koreans living close to the DMZ are also very happy with this deal. It means they'll be able to return back to their homes after spending the last few days at emergency shelters. Reporting live from South Korea's Defense Ministry, this has been Connie Kim.
The U.S. State Department has welcomed the breakthrough deal reached between the two Koreas as well. State Department spokesperson John Kirby said the U.S. supports President Park Geun-hye's efforts to improve inter-Korean relations, which promote peace and stability on the Korean peninsula. He added that Washington will continue to coordinate closely with South Korea, saying the U.S. is unwavering in its support for the alliance. Kirby also praised the South for remaining resolute throughout the crisis. And more welcoming messages are coming from the international community. Shortly after Seoul made the announcement of this historical agreement, UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon issued a statement saying he hopes the deal will lead to the resumption of long-stalled negotiations on North Korea's nuclear program. Ban said he highly appreciated the agreement to hold regular inter-Korean dialogue and said he hopes that this will serve as a mechanism to effectively manage any problems that may arise on the Korean peninsula. The UN chief then called for humanitarian measures such as reunions of separated families to be held on a regular basis without being subject to political and security considerations. And South Korea's political parties have hailed the breakthrough deal, but stress the agreement will be meaningless unless the deal is fully implemented. The ruling Seoul Party welcomed the agreement, saying it was possible because Seoul stuck to its principle throughout the talks. The party also expressed hopes that reunions of separated families and relatives from the two Koreas would take place as many times as possible from this agreement. The main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy also welcomed the deal, saying it was more meaningful as the two Koreas managed to resolve the situation through dialogue. It also highly appraised the government's achievement of drawing an apology from North Korea for its landmine attack that severely injured 2 South Korean soldiers. Now, in other news, China's stock markets suffered their biggest one-day fall since 2007 on Monday. On a massive sell-off, investors fled when an expected intervention by Beijing never came. Korean markets didn't escape the fallout either, with the country's main bourse slumping to a 2-year low. Kim Min-ji reports.
Korea's benchmark Kospi shed 2.47% on Monday, extending losses for the 6th straight day. The tech-heavy Kosdaq also finished more than 2% lower. The downward streak comes on the back of uncertainties, including escalating tensions between the two Koreas and a market rout in China. The Shanghai Composite closed down 8.5%, marking the biggest fall in 8 years. Experts say it will be hard for the Korean market to find momentum for the time being.
Negative sentiment among investors towards the Chinese market will not fade easily. The recent devaluation of the yuan has raised distrust in the Chinese economy, and this in turn will keep foreign investors out of Korea.
China's stock troubles have also caused shockwaves in markets around the world. Japan's Nikkei shed 4.6%, the lowest level in 6 months, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng fell 5.2%. Taiwan's TAIEX also plunged almost 5% to a nearly 3-year low. China's economic slowdown is also putting pressure on the Korean won. The local currency closed at its lowest level in nearly 5 years against the US dollar. The Bank of Korea has vowed to come up with measures to stabilize South Korea's financial markets and closely monitor the situation. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Now, fears over the state of China's economy spread around the globe on Monday, with stock markets in Europe and the United States plunging. Britain's FTSE 100 equaled its worst one-day fall since the global financial crisis as it nosedived 4.7%. It was even worse for Germany and France, with their main bourses tumbling 4.9% and 5.6% respectively. The financial turmoil in China and a sharp drop in the US dollar and major commodities sent investors flooding for the exit. On Wall Street Monday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell more than 1,000 points at the start of trading. It finished the session down 588 points, or 3.6%, at 15,871. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq also suffered heavy losses, shedding 3.9% and 3.8% respectively. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has rebuffed China's invitation to a military parade next month to mark the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II. Citing Abe's busy schedule in Parliament, Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga also denied that Abe plans to go to China a few days before or after the ceremony. However, Suga said Japan will continue to seek opportunities for a summit between Abe and Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, Japanese media has been reporting that Abe decided not to go out of concern his visit might be used for anti-Japan propaganda in China. Seoul has confirmed that President Park Geun-hye will attend the celebrations on September 3rd. Now, the worldwide popularity of Korean pop music, films and TV dramas is doing more than putting Korean stars on the global stage. It's also driving much greater interest in learning the language. In a sign of how big it's becoming, Seoul is playing host to a global event that brings together teachers of Korean. Kim Ji-yeon reports.
What if Korean was one of the most prominent languages spoken around the world? And how could this be realized? These are questions that lie in the hearts and minds of educators gathered at the 7th Annual World Korean Educators Conference, which kicked off on Monday.
Some 180 educators from different branches of the King Sejong Institute are participating in the 3-day event to share their teaching experiences that may be critical to improving the quality of Korean education worldwide.
Whether for fun, influenced by the so-called Korean wave or Hallyu, or something more practical like applying for a job, we want to be able to cater to all of the reasons students would want to learn the Korean language. This event provides an opportunity for educators to share their valuable experience.
For some, learning the Korean language is more than just a hobby. It is a step closer to achieving the so-called Korean dream and building a better future.
한국어를 배우려는 사람은 많은데, 근데 학교에 와서 시간과 돈을 들여서 배우려는 사람은 많지 않아요. 제 생각에 방글라데시에 있는 한국 기업들이 많아요. 지금 닷가만 해도, 수도 닷가만 해도 거의 2,000명 정도 있는데 기업이 많아요. 그 기업주들이 좀 저희를 도와주면 아마 방글라데시에서 한국어가 더 보급이 더 쉬울 거예요.
The state-run King Sejong Institute was established in 2007 and currently has around 140 branches in 54 countries. Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News.
Well, those are the stories we have for you at this hour. For more of the latest, don't forget to check out our website, arirang.com/news. Goodbye.